talking all about how I teach high and low to my elementary music students. Now, since I have been at my one school for 2 years now, this is the lesson that I am doing with my grade 1 and 2 students because my 3s and 4s now know high and low. But at my new school, I am actually doing these lessons with every student grade 1 to grade 4 because at my new school, they haven't had a music program in a while, and I just want to start with teaching that high and low so that it makes more sense when we're listening to music and when we are playing instruments and things like that. So how I start off by teaching high and low is I first use the book called Roller Coaster by Marla Fraze. I will leave a link to it down below. And it's a good book that talks about people going on a roller coaster. And I talk with the kids, have you been on a roller coaster ride before? And then we use the pictures in the book to do vocal explorations with. So when it goes up, we go, whoa! And we just use our voices to show the different ways that the roller coaster is going in the book. And that helps us practice getting our voices using high and low. After that, I will often have... After that, I will use a vocal exploration video that is roller coaster theme that I find off of YouTube. And again, we'll do the same thing. So they'll follow the roller coaster along and just go with their voices up and down and up and down. Following that, we make our own vocal coasters, I call them, and we just use pipe cleaner, and I have the kids bend it. I tell my kids that they can't do they can only have one loop-de-loop, and that it needs to have some bends in it. And then I listen to a few or have a few show me how their voice follows their roller coaster. Now that usually takes about one of my lesson blocks because I never teach just one concept all lesson. So then I would add in some movement and some singing and stuff like that. So that would be like my time that I allow for like my listening section would be used with doing that high and low. If we were to have extra time in that block, I would use, I love Linda McPherson's opposite games. I have the bird one for high and low. Any that the characters dance to, my kids love. I think I have the dancing turkey one and the dancing dragon one. And so if I ever have time that I need to fill, like any time in my day, but especially when we're focusing on a concept, I'll pop that up on the board. And so then when they come back to me, we would review the vocal coasters again, do another vocal exploration, and then I would switch gears to doing some different nursery rhymes to work on high and low. And the ones that I use are Jack and Jill, The King of France, and Hickory Dickory Dock. All because in those nursery rhymes, we talk about going up and down. And I'll have my kids do that while we do it. So we'll go, Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. Same with King of France, same with Hickory Dickory. I always start with Jack and Jill because they know it. So I say, okay, I have something new and exciting to show you. And then I'll tell them and they'll say that they already know it, which I knew that. And then we'll do it together with the up and the down. And then usually that's the one that I use on the first day. And then I pull out the glockenspiels. Now, remember, I'm doing this with grade 1s and 2s. So pulling out the glockenspiels is a big deal. And they are super excited to see them, and they ask what it's called. And then we practice saying the word glockenspiel, and they say it so ridiculously at times because it's a hard word to say, especially when you have kids that can't say their S's. So we pull out the glockenspiel, and I talk about how the glockenspiel is like a hill, and I'll put it so that the high part is here and the low part is here. And we can go up the hill and down the hill and up the hill and down the hill. And we'll practice doing that with our hands as I play the glockenspiel. And then I say, do you see how the top of the glockenspiel has a tip like a hill? Yeah. Well, that there is the high part of the hill, right? It's the top, it's high, and it has a high sound. And then I'll play them a couple times, the high note on the glockenspiel. Then I'll go to the bottom, and this part is the low part. It's the bottom part. So, and then I'll play a couple times on that. And then we go to this rhyme that I got from Becca's music room, which is fantastic. And I don't know if she made it up or whoever made it up. It's a great idea. I saw her do it on one of her videos, and that is small is high, big is low. That is science, you should know. So I'll have them echo and we do the movement small is high, big is low. That is science, you should know. And then they'll do it while I play the high and low parts on the glockenspiel so that they can associate small, high, sounds high, big, low, sounds low. And then after that, I tell them, okay, we're gonna play a game. And I still have a glockenspiel and I have it still like a hill. And I say, when I play a high sound, you're gonna put your hands on your head. And when I play a low sound, you're gonna put your hands on your toes. And we'll go back and forth, and I'll do them fast and do them slow and take lots of breaks in between. And then eventually I play one in the middle. And I think in all of the classes that I've done this with this year, they all classes had a kid who put their hands on their middle because they heard that was in the middle. So that was great. So then we talked about middle. Then we do the same thing. High, you touch your head. Low, you touch your toes. And middle, you put your hands in the middle. Then I will turn the glockenspiel, so it's still like this. I'll turn it so that it's the right way. And I'll say, okay, now find the low part. And if most of my kids in all of my classes were able to still think big is low and figure out where the low part was. Like I said, when I was doing it with my 3/4, no problem at all. My 1/2, some of us, we talked about, then again, big is low, that is science we should know, and we did the whole rhyme again. And then I do the same sort of thing, head, toes, middle with that. Then I say, okay, we're gonna use these in Jack and Jill. And then I'll have the kids do the Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. And then I'll go low to high on my glockenspiel. So Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. And then I do it a couple different times. And then I let the kids play the glockenspiels. I know when I was in university and even some courses that I've taken, maybe it's an older mentality or just how it was always done. Like glockenspiels were like saved for kids like older than grade 2 or like after spring break, grade 2. And I don't like telling my kids that they can't do anything because I don't like them believing that. So if it's something that like we're not doing yet, I'll tell them we're not doing yet, but I never say that's something the big kids do. So that is why I do glockenspiels. And like it is, when I'm filming this, it is the end of September. I start school in September. I have my grade 1s and 2s playing glockenspiels the second full week of September. So by like September 10th, we were playing glockenspiels. So that really helps. And my other thought with it is A, I have the most glockenspiels out of all of my Orff instruments. B, they can't really break them. I know I say that, but like my kids, even if they were rough on things, and my kids really aren't, I feel like they would be the less likely to get damaged. And they're the cheapest, so if they do get damaged, I have a better chance of being able to replace them than if they break the bass xylophone or something like that. So I always do this in groups. I do not give everyone a glockenspiel. So I have my kids sorted into rows of 6. So I lay out 6 glockenspiels and just have the kids come up. We do it twice. We practice going up and down, and then we do Jack and Jill. And then we do Jack and Jill twice, and then that's pretty much it for that day. And then the next day, I will introduce the 2 other nursery rhymes. We'll do it with King of France and Hickory Dickory Dock, so then they get to go up and down 3 times on that day, and just practicing that up and down. And like I had said earlier, through all of this, I will often pull out a Linda McPherson interactive game and just practice doing that. I will also sometimes give them my paddles that say high and low, and I'll play notes on the piano, and they'll do it every day that we're learning about high and low. I do the same thing with the glockenspiel, head, toes, middle for the highs and low sounds that they hear. So both having them play it and hear it is something that's very important to me. And then something new that I added to this lesson set this year is I'm using Denise Gagne's Fall Leaf Song. It's from her pre-K program, but it might also be in like one of the other bundles. Like it might be in one of the movement bundles or movement products. And it essentially talks about leaves falling down all around the town, whirling, twirling, something, the leaves are falling down. So this I am for sure going to do with my 3/4 at my 1 school. And I actually think I'll do it with my 3/4 at my old school as well, because it would be a good way to get them back into doing Orff instruments. So essentially how I plan to do it is leaves are falling down all around the town, whirling, twirling, will go up and around the instrument, the leaves are coming down. So I will for sure do that with my 3/4 at my new school. And I think I'm going to do it with all of my 1-2s between the 2 schools. I likely will, because they should be able to handle it. But it's the whirling, twirling part where they can sometimes get a little silly. Another thing that I have done for high and low before, and it's how I prep it in kindergarten, but I'm just going to share it in this video since this is all about high and low, is I use BB Bumblebee. The poem goes like this. It's not like the BB Bumblebee that you find right away if you Google it, but it goes like this. BB Bumblebee, listen to the bumblebee. He goes up, he goes down, and he goes all around the town. So then they do that on their glockenspiels. I did. Some of my grade ones were able to make the connection between BB Bumblebee and Jack and Jill, and some of them it was completely lost, which is fine. It was a nice like exposure to Orff instruments for my kindergarten kids. And if I was teaching high and low at a different time, I would also likely do it with my 1-2s. But same thing, up and down, and then the all around the town. So if I do decide to do the fall leaves with all my grade 1-2s, I might start with that one because it's not with the music, so I have a little bit more control over it. But I will link the roller coaster book down below, as well as I will try to leave a link to Linda McPherson's Teacher Pay Teacher store with those interactive games. Another thing that always works well with doing high and low, and that I try to incorporate a little bit extra when we do high and low, is vocal explorations. In my TPT store, I have back to school ones, which by the time you see this video will not be useful. Some leaves, owls, trick-or-treating. So I will leave a link to my vocal explorations in there. I will also try to find one of those YouTube videos with the roller coaster to go along with it. So that is it for today. Let me know how you teach high and low. Do you do any of the same things? Do you have different ways that you do it? I always love learning from other teachers and figuring out what you guys are up to. So that's it for today. If you like this, make sure that you like, subscribe, and share it so that other teachers can find the content. And until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.